Number 10, Mike Sabin.
Thank you, sir. To the Minister of Housing, what international reports has he received on how housing affordability can be improved, and what lessons can New Zealand learn from these experiences?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, this week's public report from Statistics Australia notes that first home buyers in Australia have dropped to the lowest level ever. This is despite Australia having a capital gains tax and some restrictions on overseas home purchases. The median multiplier of house price to median income from demographic is 8.3 in Sydney as compared to 6.7 in Auckland. The median house price in Sydney is $810,000 as compared to Auckland's $582,000, and Sydney median house prices have gone up 13% as compared with 10% in New Zealand. The lesson that has been drawn in Australia is that if we are serious about helping first home buyers, it is cost and supply of housing that needs to be addressed, and that is why the government is focused on those real issues.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Mike Sabin.
Thank you, sir. Supplementary to the Minister. What advice has he received on new policy options that are being explored in Australia to help improve housing supply?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the main focus is on increasing land supply. The consensus is that too little land has been made available for housing, and state governments are looking to fast-track land supply and simplify planning processes to make housing more affordable. I also note that they have announced policies to enable the transfer of significant state housing stock from state to community housing organisations. I note that none of the state governments in Australia facing challenges over housing affordability are proposing massive state house building programs.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Mike Sabin.
Thank you, sir. Further to the Minister, what reports has the Minister seen from the OECD on housing markets, and what does it recommend for improving affordability?
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Speaker, the OECD has undertaken a comprehensive study following the collapse of house price bubbles in many countries as part of the global financial crisis. The report is particularly critical of rigid land use regulation and notes that house price bubbles were most severe in countries with rigid land supply. That is why this government has this year passed the Housing Accord and Special Housing Areas legislation to free up land and fast-track the supply of new housing.
Question number 11.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister